I recently did a video talking about how the remove a condition a mythic creature ability isn't as game-shatteringly overpowered as the online discourse would have you believe, and I mentioned that one drawback of putting remove a condition on a creature is they can never gain mythic skill. Not even at the second point in the mythic progression, that mythic skill gives you another skill to use mythic skill with. That's inherent to having mythic skill. You don't get like two shots at it. I already talked about what remove a condition does and how it can be pretty good, but also somewhat of a double-edged sword, and it's actually reasonably easy to play around. Now, since you can't have both, what does mythic skill do? Well, if the creature's level 4, you pick one skill it has, and it can spend a mythic point to get a +4 to that skill, and count as having mythic proficiency. Now, it's a fair point to bring up the fact that not every monster in this game has a special ability oriented around skill usage, but then there's also the normal effects of skill actions. But it's not actually uncommon for a creature to have grab, knockdown, or an improved version of one of the two, or have some ability that benefits from inflicting grab or knockdown on people. Like Swallow Whole, for example, which, by the way, is also a skill check. And even if they don't have something special like grab, just a regular grapple attempt that crits will restrain the target, which puts them in a state where they have to attempt to escape it. And that comes with multiple attack penalty because it has the attack trait. Feint that crits makes the target off guard until the end of the user's next turn. A crit demoralize makes you frightened too. And like that Serpent Folk Granite Scale over there can AoE demoralize, so being able to give that +4 on a mythic point could be quite devastating to your party. Which seems more threatening and interesting? The mythic brute on its turn shrugging off a penalty you already exploited and can just put back on again, and costing an action and a mythic point to do it, and only removing one of the conditions when it might have multiple, or the mythic brute starting the fight by running up, biting, and on its grab, spending a point to boost its likelihood of restraining even the high con fighter to 55%, and with its high athletic skill from being a mythic brute, it might require a mythic point to break out of that grab. Which seems better? Some naysayers were saying remove a condition was the only good and interesting mythic ability to give to creatures, but not only are they not looking at conditions, apparently they're not looking at the creatures either.